Welcome back to the channel. It has been a couple of weeks since I have put a video out, and I wanted to kind of let you know what's been going on. A couple of weeks ago, I went out and was going to go kayaking, and I fell on the boat ramp, and I quite possibly gave myself a concussion and hit my head really good and hard. So I've been staying away from the computer and that kind of stuff just to help make sure that I, get my head healed properly. And then I kind of needed to play a little bit of catch up, get some work done. But I'm back. But I thought I would take this opportunity to kind of talk a little bit about injuries. Because when you have a visual impairment, there's going to possibly be injuries that come along. But one of the things that I think is really important when injuries come along is that you get back up and you give it another try. I think that it's a little easy to be afraid of getting hurt, that you can fall into the trap of not really living life, if you want to say. And so I really want to encourage you to, if I could say it this way, have a healthy respect for your limitations, not a fear of your limitations. It's easy to say, oh no, I can't see, so I can't do that. It's easy to say that. I mean, to be perfectly honest, I was terrified going kayaking because, the first time, and I've already done a video about that, and I was terrified because I'm like, dude, my sense of balance isn't good. I can't really see, like, is this really going to be, should I be doing this? Now, in the end, it worked out, and I'm really glad I did it. And had I let fear kind of get in the way, I would not have experienced that and realized, hey, I can actually kayak. That's cool. Now, yes, I know what you're thinking, but didn't you just give yourself a concussion kayaking? Okay, yes, but here's the thing. Was not actually in the kayak yet. But am I going to take this experience and learn from it? Yes. Because what I have learned from this is I'm going to need a little bit of help getting in the kayak. So that's something I can now do differently. So it's important to learn from things when we get injured, but it's also important, I think, to not necessarily, oh, I cannot do that again because I got hurt. And yes, I did get hurt pretty good. I mean, like, head injuries are not something to mess around with. So, again, like, I think that precautions should be then observed. So I'm not by any means saying, oh, just throw caution to the wind. But I do want to really encourage people not to be afraid to give things a try, not to be afraid to get back on the horse, as it were, because there's ways in which you can still do stuff. And I've been thinking about some of the different things I've done in the past where I have, kind of almost injured myself. There was a particular time I remember as a kid, and my dad worked construction, and we had stopped by this house that he was working on. I'm not exactly sure why. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not exactly sure why we were stopping by this house, but we were stopping by on our way home from church. And I remember that because I was dressed in like a church outfit. I had tights on, so I had ripped the tights when I fell, I think. But anyways, it was a brick porch that was supposed to be filled in with concrete. Well, it was not filled in with concrete yet. And I'm kind of at the back of the line, and so we're all walking up the stairs across the porch into the house. Well, I didn't see that when we got to the top of the stairs that there was a board laid across, and they were all walking across the board. I had not seen that. So I just go up the stairs and just bloop right down that hole because I had no idea there was a hole there. You know, There was a time when I was an adult and I was walking, and um, I I was walking to the store, and so I kind of was cutting across a little spot that didn't have a sidewalk, and my foot caught in like a root. Like, I don't even know, and like it just like slid right inside, and like I fell, I face planted. Um, and it was, I did not get hurt that time. I think because my body was totally like, I was unprepared to fall, so my body just fell, like I was totally limp to it. So I didn't get hurt. I just was like, whoa, what in the world just happened? So, um, as a result, and I've kind of talked about this in past videos, I tend to follow people when I'm walking. But I also tend to follow people very directly. I walk right behind them quite often because then I'm less likely to have problems, because if they made it through, I could probably make it through. The other thing that I tend to do is I tend to watch people's feet, because I can watch their feet go up and down or step over, or I can see what their feet are doing, and then I know, oh, there's something there. I need to like do what they just did. So that's the kind of thing that I have learned to do to kind of help me not have near as many problems as I have had in the past. Um, but I know that there's a little bit of it's hard when you're raising a kid with albinism and they have vision problems, but they kind of want to be a little adventurous. That's a little bit hard, but I do think that, like, for me as the person with the visual impairment, I start to get a feel for truly where my limits are and what I need to be able to do my limits. Um, my sense of balance is not very good, but I know that if I can just hold on to something, I'll be okay. So it's kind of, to me, it's kind of a good idea to, like for instance, this kayaking thing. I would not have done that by myself. I was doing that with friends that knew that I had limitations, and so they knew to kind of keep an eye out for what we're doing. When we go kayaking, I've done it a few times now. This is not my first or second time doing it. But when we go, they usually will tell me, like, go to the left because there's some rocks coming up, or follow right behind me because we're gonna have to like go through these, um, and that's helpful. And they know that I have some visual limitations of, like, she not gonna see the rock. So if I could give any advice to people who maybe have kids with albinism, if your child is interested in doing something that you're a little concerned about, is this going to work out because of their vision, maybe take them and try to do that activity with them a little bit, so that first they have at least tried it and they know where their limitations are going to cause problems. But also you could get a feel for what they can and can't do. So if your kid wants to go out for the basketball team, let's just say, um, take them, shoot some hoops with them, kind of get an idea where their limitations are, kind of get an idea of what do they think could be hindrances when they're on the court. How do they think they could kind of work around that? Because as I've talked about before, we just tend to learn to do things differently. And maybe this is something they've kind of already thought about. And it might not be something that they can verbalize. It might just be like, they just kind of know, this is what I can do. This is how I do it. I can't see the ball, but I can hear the ball bouncing coming towards me. So I know that the kid over there has the ball, whatever it might be. I really encourage you to help them kind of figure out where their limits are if they don't already know where their limits are. But also just kind of being aware of, let them kind of explore a little bit. Let them have some of those experiences to find out what they can and can't do, and to learn how to then adjust to doing things safely, but still having a little bit of fun. So that's kind of what I want to really encourage you with, because it's a healthy respect of your limitations, not a fear, but a healthy respect of your limitations, because we do have to be very aware of the fact that we are limited in some ways. But like I've said before, a lot of times it's a matter of we have to find our own way to do things. And that's okay. But it might take us a few stumbles before we figure out the right way to do it that's going to make it work for us. So whether you are a person with albinism yourself, whether you are a parent of a child with albinism and you feel like a nervous wreck every time your kid walks out the door, let me just encourage you that, you know, they probably will fall a few times, but get back up, try again, learn from those stumbles, and come up with a new plan. If you have any stories that you have had in the past, kind of like mine in the porch, where you have had, you know, something like that happen and it's been a direct result of not being able to see, put those down in the comments, because, you know, we can all kind of lament together over our embarrassing moments. And maybe later on I will tell you a few more of my embarrassing moments. But and if you have any questions about maybe any kind of specific activities that either your child is interested in getting involved in, or you yourself are kind of a little bit concerned about being involved in, and you kind of want maybe some more opinions on those events with a visual impairment, leave those down in the comments below. And I mean, I can't say for sure that I would have any kind of answer. I've not done everything out there, but who knows? Maybe somebody else will be like, I've done that and here's what I've done. So stay tuned for more blind perspectives.